Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're
Witches Talking Tarot.
And we're going to be diving into the hearth tonight. We're going to be discussing how to bring that cozy, wonderful, loving energy into your home, especially during the winter season when it's cold outside and you want people to come inside.
Yes, you want your home to be a warm haven for your guests and most importantly, your family. You want them to be excited to walk through that door and that warm rush of good smelling air because mom baked cookies or there's hot cocoa
or something.
Yes.
Incense.
Yeah, we're gonna cover everybody here. We are, but it's that mental image of like, Mom. You remember the Campbell's soup commercial?
Yes!
Where the kid goes inside and he's like a fucking snowman. And then as he eats the soup, it melts away because mom made him all warm again.
Right.
And that's what today's topic is all about.
Well, and I just want to say you can, obviously this is throughout the entire year.
It doesn't have to be done with food, but food is the way to a man's heart and a woman's heart. Well, I like to, I pierced my tongue 3 times and I took it out 3 times because I couldn't fucking eat, y'all. Food is important to this woman right here.
So, of course, we're going to be focusing on during the winter season and the Yule season, but also throughout the entire year because while it may not be cold outside, the world itself is really a cold, dark place.
And that's why, And that's why we say warm and inviting because no matter what temperatures are outside, your home can always be inviting to your family and your friends. And as a parent of adult children, this is super important because you want your kids to want to come home again, even if it's not to stay. They don't have to come home to stay. Just kidding. I love you guys, all of you. I don't think they listen, but the point is, you want to cultivate throughout their entire lives that energy of your house is a warm refuge, like you said, an inviting place to go so that they're not afraid to go home and say, I'm having a problem or I messed up. They're not afraid to go home and say, I'm having a bad day because it's a warm, safe place that they can be where they can be themselves. They can relax themselves. They can let their guard down. Not for bad magics. Don't go all baneful on me yet, guys. My point is they can let their guard down so you can have a nice cup of tea together and share.
And if you
check out our last episode.
Yes. And if you don't have kids and it's just you yourself want a nice cozy place to stay. You deserve it. You deserve to be able to come home after a shitty day and sit on your couch and eat pizza and watch your favorite Netflix show and be comfortable in your own home.
Because the energy is inviting, not just because you're comfortable to be in your PJs or to be in your sweatpants. And also there's a reason we mentioned guests as well, because this isn't just about family. This isn't just about kids. You want your guests of all kinds because hopefully, even if you live alone, there are people that you have in your life that when they come over, they go, oh, wow, the vibe is different here.
Right.
And it's a thing you cultivate.
So I'm going to call some people out, myself included. I don't know about you, Amber, but I think one of the things that people struggle with creating this energy in their home is procrastination. I want to get up and do these things. I want to make my home inviting and I want to do this and I want to do that, but then we just don't do it. You know what I mean? And I'm saying this because I myself have done that many times.
Okay. And you say that. And the reason that I like this episode being what it is, because you don't have to go out of your way to create that environment.
Right, that's important to remember.
Granted, this is not an attack on anyone. It's obviously more pleasant to go somewhere that is not, let's just say a hoarder's house, right? That is not an inviting, warm situation, no matter what you try to do. My house, as Maddie can see, is not immaculate.
It's not a hoarder's house.
It's not bad, but it's not immaculately clean. But when people come in, they always feel comfortable. They feel welcome. They feel contented.
Yes.
And even if you don't keep a house immaculate, you can create that environment.
Yes.
But so when I say you don't have to do anything, there are little things you have to do because if if there are walking paths through the entire house because it's so full, then maybe that there's more effort for you. But for everyone else, and again, I'm not attacking, like,
No, you're being real. I get
yeah,
you.
I'm just being real. Like, I think that no matter what your economic situation or your mental state, like, I think without putting too much extra effort into it, it's
Right.
something that you can do when you do things from the heart.
You know what? I'm gonna say you mentioned mental health. I think using like making your home the way that we're talking,
It improves your
it's gonna
mental
improve your
health.
mental
Yep.
health.
But you
Absolutely.
don't have to have great mental health to start it.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, you may see that your mental health starts improving with the things that you're
Absolutely.
doing,
Yep.
because when we're in a
'Cause
certain environment, we start to pick up those vibes, which means we're leaving this house and we're going to work in a shitty attitude with shitty vibes, and then we're
yep.
coming home and it's shitty attitude and shitty vibes, and just
Yep.
it's boom 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 over
And your
over again.
Dama boy's pissed off, y'all.
Right? And it's check out season 1.
Yep. Yep. Because, like, a happy home is very important. We have devolved into a culture of being alone, even when we're in a house full of other people. We have devolved into a culture of living through these screens. Okay. And when your entire life and your entire focus is just right here in this little screen, your environment's gonna fall. That is going to negatively affect your mental health. And when the whole vibe and the whole household is negative for everybody, everyone's going to stay disconnected in those little rooms. If you can take the time to conscientiously pull away from some of that and put a little bit of that attention that you put in your little phone box into getting a can of soup out of the cabinet and heating it up. It's a baby step that can start. Because, like,
right, I think baby steps, it's very
it's all
important.
about baby
You know,
steps.
I have been trying to improve myself as a homemaker lately. I am thankful for the opportunity to be a homemaker. I am thankful that the opportunity to be a homemaker will continue on in my future for a very
Yes.
long time. So even that, with that being said, I have 2 young kids. So am I making a home? I don't know, I'm taking care of kids. You know how it is, right?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to push myself a little more and do a little bit more. This year I decorated for Christmas. My mother didn't really I don't want to say she didn't decorate for Christmas. I believe she did when we were younger, but I don't remember much of it. I want my children to remember.
Yep.
So I am going the extra mile to decorate for Christmas and to continue to decorate for Christmas. I don't want to say my mom never decorated, because I think that's unfair. I do remember some, but I was so young, and she started and then decorating for Christmas just slowly faded and became not a thing.
Yeah. And I highly personally believe that decorating for the holidays is a way that you make your home inviting not only to your family, but to your guests.
Yeah.
Because it is an inviting situation when you've got the decorations out, whether it's inside or outside, even if it's just a little tinsel or garland somewhere. Maddie's looking around because we go hog wild.
Oh, you should see my house. I really am excited for you to see my house.
Awesome. I'm excited. Terrible. I am excited to see it. But, like, you know, decorating for the holidays is important. Cooking is important, right? Okay. We'll take it back in a second. But I used to cook, like, when I was blessed enough to be a homemaker, like, Alton Brown was my motherfucking buddy. I learned how to cook so much off of Good Eats. Like, we had homemade mac and cheese, and I made marinara sauce from fucking tomatoes that I skinned myself, which is a fucking bitch. But I used to do that shit. And, like,
I had the time.
Yeah, like, the girls were like, yeah. I mean, it was great. Like, that was a great time in my life. Lolly had just started walking. Gia wasn't in school yet. Roz was going into kindergarten and then was in kindergarten. Lolly's the only one that went to preschool. The other two, I taught them how to write and read their names and stuff like that, which was, like, It was a great experience. I enjoyed that part of my life for sure. And I enjoyed cultivating this culture where the house is this warm, inviting thing, whether you have a hearth or not. You don't have to have a hearth to have a warm, inviting house. But if you do have a hearth, fireplace is a great thing for that. But the kitchen is a great place for it to all start. Now, I used to cook meals from like absolute scratch, and it was fucking great, and I fucking loved it. But even if you just pop some chicken nuggets and French fries in the oven, your house is warm. It smells like food. Here's the important part, though, guys. Stay with me.
You're taking care of yourself because you're feeding yourself instead of going out to eat, even
Right.
though it's frozen.
Yes. I like that because I was trying not to go there, but that's exactly it. That
though
is
it's
it.
frozen.
Because like I said, it's cooking. Well, instead of getting fast food, instead of getting food from out, even though it's just frozen food, you're still cooking. Your house is
Which brings
got
that
love. It's got that
life.
life. It's got that love. It's got that warmth. The house has that aroma of cooking food, even if it's just French fries and chicken nuggies. Everybody's going to be happy, but stay with me, guys. Get everybody out of their rooms.
Oh my God.
Eat together. Have that. Okay, your roommates, right? My brother has had a roommate for like a decade that I have seen 3 times. I've seen this motherfucker 3 times. I have been there like a dozen times at least.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. At least a dozen times. I've only seen him 3 times because like my brother and his roommate don't interact, but
do you close off that energy, you get stagnant.
Exactly.
It's all closed off, which is why people open up their windows when they can.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is like, yeah, maybe you're not eating the same thing. Maybe you're not cooking it together. Come together and eat. Like if you're in the same household, like I think that's really important. Exactly, because that builds this energy in the home. It gives it life, like Maddie said. It gives it an actual life where you are feeding it.
And go through. Sorry, guys. Go through.
It's late, guys.
Go throughout your house. Okay, so I know plenty of people who will only hang out in their bedroom.
Right, that's what I'm talking
about.
about.
Only hang out in one side of the house, and then the other side of the house is just cold and empty and stagnant.
Yes. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, come out of your rooms. Don't just be back in one little place. But if you live with other people, come together. Enjoy each other's company because the interaction, that's why, like, I love our show. I love our show. Guys, if you didn't know, I love Witches Talking Tarot. I love Maddie. I love getting together and discussing this stuff. I love when we don't have the same point of view because we can talk about it together. And I feel like it creates an energy of openness and acceptance, right? Because we have the time, we take the open discourse, right? But we're together when we do it. We're not, like, it would be cool if we were video calling. It would still be the same conversation.
Right.
But there'd be that disconnect.
Together, right.
Exactly. It's different when we're together. And it builds this energy. And it other people can feel it, like we were talking about earlier. Like, the show started from Facebook because other people were like, wow, you guys have amazing energy. You should start a podcast.
Right.
And we were like,
and we did.
Yeah, we did.
That's where this came from.
And you're listening to it right now.
Check us out on Facebook. I'm Peace, Love, and Tea Leaves on Facebook.
And I'm Amber as the color on Facebook. And
sorry, shameless
we have fun stuff. Yeah, exactly. Shameless plugs, but that's okay. It's all about it. But that's where this podcast came from, was those things. But it was because we were together. When we were making that energy, we were actually together. We were together in person.
People felt comforted and more, or people felt comfortable talking to us. You know?
They did. And it's that energy that's built up. And it's that being together as people and people coming together. And granted, if you live alone, no, you can't always have that. But you can allow connections to come in. Okay, so maybe this episode is more about like not just shutting yourself off, but I really do feel like it's making your house an open, comforting place makes it easier to invite others in. It makes it easier for them to accept your invitation. Maybe it takes 3 months for that person to finally come over and chill with you because they're so used to being in their little room like you're used to being in your little room. But when they finally come over, when they feel the
Yeah.
energy that you've taken the time to cultivate,
Mhm.
because you popped some popcorn before they came over, or you lit that candle so it smells like sugar cookies, even
Yeah.
if there's no sugar cookies, you know? Maybe it's just a bag of Oreos and y'all are gonna watch fucking Tubi and, you know, whatever. I didn't want anybody to be like Netflix and chill, you know?
Oh.
But like,
You're gonna
they're
watch
gonna come
Disney
in.
Plus.
Yeah.
No.
I am boycotting them.
I know.
But they're going to come in and they're going to feel that energy that you cultivated. So then the next time when you invite them over, they're going to come over in 2 weeks instead of 3
Right.
months.
And I feel like it's very important to do cleansings as well throughout the
Yes.
house. And like I mentioned,
agree.
in warm weather, opening up your windows. If you can't open up your windows, open up your door. If you can't open up your door, then, well, I don't know. You're shit out of luck.
Well, if you can't
Turn
open
on
up
the
your
fans.
make sure your
Yeah.
vents are open.
Yeah,
Make sure your
Just get
stuff is
some
running.
sort of
Get circulation.
That's why I'm like,
just
turn
like
on
your
the
blood.
fan.
Get up and dance.
Mhm.
If you get up and dance, you got the fan on, you are moving that air. So is the fan. It is
Yes.
circulating
Yes.
that energy, and you're dancing. You're giving to that energy.
Right?
You're like getting into it, like Amber is. If you're on YouTube, sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if
That's
you're watching
right.
us on YouTube.
That's right. But like you said, it's like it's all about that energy that you're cultivating in the household. And it's like there was something that like I was gonna say, but I lost it because I started dancing. Damn.
We're talking about cleansing out with the old and with
Cleansing.
the new.
Okay,
New
so,
welcoming
yes.
energy.
Cleansing and inviting in the spirit of the season. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in Christmas right now. We got the spirit of the season. At Halloween, we had the spirit of the season. Fucking in November, there was a spirit of the season of giving.
Mm-hmm.
In May, May Beltane, it's fucking spring Halloween. There's a spirit of the season. When you're decorating, like Maddie said at the beginning of the episode, you're inviting that spirit in.
Mhm.
You're inviting that energy in,
Mhm.
and it helps with the vibe that you're trying to cultivate.
And if you can't afford to buy decorations, make your own.
Yeah. Decorating doesn't mean buying things
Go
necessarily.
outside and pick flowers and bring it inside.
Oh, absolutely. Or like maybe you've got a crap ton of paper bags because you shop at Aldi's.
Mhm.
You can make snowflakes out of paper bags. You can make little reindeer out of paper
You
bags.
can recycle.
You can recycle them.
Yes. So like just reuse and recycle, and you can do so much.
You can, because like paper bags, like if you think about like decorating from a pagan perspective, paper bags are a great thing to decorate
Oh,
from because that's like
absolutely.
that natural color.
Mhm.
It's not been bleached most likely. It's probably not been printed on. You can easily make like down home kind of decorations. You can make
Make a date, like make, I don't want to say a date, but make like a thing of it. Like have people
make a
come
whole
over
yes,
maybe.
have a party.
Yes,
have
a party.
have a decorating party. All over the internet you can find like ways to get cheap stuff from Dollar Tree so you can spend a little money, or you can use what you've got. You can use paint, you can use markers, you can use colored pencils. In Poland there's an actual art of cut paper, and that's how they decorate. Like, it's amazing. It's
Oh, that's
intricate
awesome.
cut paper, and it's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
bet. That sounds
Y'all,
awesome.
Google Polish paper cutting. It's so beautiful. Like, it's
bet
like
it is.
intricate. You should, Google it right
yeah,
now if you want
like,
to. There's a name for it, but I can't remember because I haven't looked into it for so long. But like Maddie said, you don't have to buy decorations to participate in any of it. When there's flowers outside, you can bring them in. You can bring in like hawthorn. You can bring in at Beltane, I believe.
wow.
It's bad luck to bring it in otherwise. But yeah, you see how intricate like the roosters and the crows and
That's
shit are,
crazy,
and
yeah.
all the colors because the different colored papers. Like, there's so many different ways that you can cultivate. Music is a way to cultivate. I know I kind of with the dancing, but like outside of you dancing just to get the
Playing music while you clean your house.
exactly,
Just things.
playing music. Like there was a time where Corey and I would, on Sunday mornings, we each had a book to read, and we'd just play classical music, have our coffee, and read our books together. Nobody was using their phone to social media, none of that. It was just real low, and it was I loved the vibe in the house when I will do it. I do like my Wusa music. I love instrumental and classical music. There's the soundtrack to Carnival is my Wusa music, and I love it so much. There's like 2 songs maybe that might have words, but otherwise it's just all instrumental, and it gives such a vibe. And if you want to up that vibe, you can use like fast-paced music.
Right, play whatever you
Play
want.
whatever works for you. Get some fucking Cardi B going. Get some Backstreet Boys. I was gonna quote a Backstreet Boys song, but I don't actually listen to that stuff, so it went right out of my head. I was like, I said Backstreet Boys, and then oops, I did it again.
Rock. That's not in sync, is it?
I have no idea. I was gonna make that joke because of the commercial, where like there's a commercial. It's a laundry detergent commercial, and I think it's in sync. And then the girl does a Backstreet Boys lyric, and they're like, "That's not our song."
Oh my god, that's
it's so funny. It is. It's hilarious. But anyway, so I don't know them either. Neither does the girl in the commercial. But that's not the point. The point is, think of a time where you entered somebody's house and you were like, God, I wish I was home right now.
Or a time when, if you had the fortunate, if you were fortunate enough to have a time in your life when you were a child where you felt super comfortable in your home. And I say if you were fortunate enough.
Well, and what I meant was, I did not mean like, God, I wish I was home right now because it's such a bad vibe they stepped into, but like, it's such a good vibe. I wish I lived here.
Yeah.
That, for the record, that's where I was going with that. And yes, fortunate enough, because we don't want to presume what your childhood was like.
But that comforting feeling of just being a child and being safe.
Having your mommy or your grandma or your daddy, whoever it was that held you. And baby, if you didn't have anybody that held you when you were little, it's sad. If I ever see you in person, I will give you a hug because everybody should have that.
I know.
I made myself sad thinking about somebody not having that.
That's why I'm like, if you're fortunate enough, and
everybody should have somebody.
And if you didn't have that, then create that for yourself now.
Create that for your, I literally, the things we're talking about right now, I didn't even realize it until we were talking, and you were talking about creating, those memories for your kids. These have been the messages for my Morning Witch videos all weekend about creating that holiday that you would want. Like creating, maybe no adult in your life ever did it right for you when you were a kid.
So
now you're the adult. Take control. Do it.
Yes.
Not just that, but do it for yourself. If you have kids, do it for yourself, but also do stuff for them, because maybe the thing that made Christmas great for you as a kid, or what you wish your adult had done, maybe it's not the thing that they want. So always make sure, and I say that from a personal perspective because I always wanted a Halloween party. So my kids had a Halloween party every year. But my oldest daughter, she's like, man, you overdo Halloween. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
What?
I know. And so it kind of ruined Halloween for her. So keep them in mind while you're doing your own holiday, unless you don't have kids, in which case, fuck everybody, do whatever you want. Have your holiday and enjoy it. And you know what? You're going to raise your vibe, and you're going to raise the vibe of your environment. Not just your home, but your work environment too, because part of the vibe is you.
It follows you.
It does. It does.
If you had a really shitty day at home, you and your partner got into an argument, or your mom yelled at you before work, you're probably gonna have a shitty day.
Yeah.
Or at least a shitty morning.
Right. I would like to think that nobody can walk inside my house and not feel me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just not that I want to live on in these walls per se. That's not what I'm saying. But what I mean is that my vibe should permeate my environment, and that my vibe should bring my environment up to the standard of which I vibe at. And my vibe should be a high enough vibration that it is a pleasant thing. Because otherwise I got a lot of shadow work. Check out, I think, season 2.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shadow work to do if I can't even have a good enough vibe for myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know. So what are some of the things, before you had kids, what were some of the things that you did to when you got out of your home? And the reason I ask you that way is because I know your post living with your parents has mostly been without kids, and now you're just starting a new stage.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't really do much, and I hated it. You
Really?
know,
Because
I
like your
felt.
little living room so felt like
You
I
think so?
like you had the herb cabinet and you had the fireplace on the
I
wall.
guess
I
I
fucking
tried to.
loved it.
I'm so glad because I
Yeah.
guess I tried to make it look nice with like different feng shui techniques. So I did work with the feng shui, but I didn't want to put solid energy behind it because I was renting.
Hmm.
So it just felt like, why should I put all my solid energy behind this if I'm just going to end up moving and it's all going to go away? So then
Really?
yeah, and then I had kids and I moved into the house that we're buying, and now I feel like I can really open
Huh.
up and do those things and
Cause
make
like
that energy.
you're
I wonder if it was subconscious.
I yeah, I do
You
wonder
know,
that because like
because I think we all subconsciously do that.
you definitely your former place
Mhm. Mhm.
definitely had like a your vibe. Like
Well,
it
I
you there was
appreciate that.
definitely like stuff there
It
that
wasn't
like
always
wouldn't have
like
been
that.
right.
It became that way when I went through a little crisis.
Okay,
Um
so that was more recent
yes, that
then
was
in that
definitely
house.
right before I
Okay.
had my kid, my
Okay.
first son,
Okay.
because for
Okay.
a long time that house was just a shell that we lived in. And
Now,
then what happened with my husband, um and then I was like,
yeah,
fuck
no,
it,
I got you. I picked
I'm
that up.
making
Yeah.
this place my fucking own.
Okay.
I want that
So,
energy. And
please don't
that
take offense when I
uh-huh.
say this, but I'm going to say this to you and everybody listening. Like, I completely disagree with that. Not
Mhm.
everybody can buy a house.
Mhm.
And like, it's so much better for
Oh,
your
oh
own
no,
mental health.
it's
So, I
like a
didn't want you to
me
see, yeah,
thing.
I didn't want you to
No.
feel like attacked when I say it
No,
this way,
no,
but
not
like,
attacked at
it's
all.
so much better for your mental health, no matter where you're living, to
Mhm.
make it your space.
No, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think for me, my problem was growing up, you know,
You move so
we
much, you
moved
didn't
so
feel
much, I
comfortable
didn't feel
settling in
comfortable.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we rented my entire
Yeah.
childhood and we just moved so much. I knew I was renting and I was like, I don't know how to ground and make this place my own. And it took years for me to get to that point. So when I say I understand how hard it can be,
I
I
get you.
truly do.
Yeah.
Because I did not
Mhm.
want to. It was like I was scared that I was going to have to pack up and move again at some
Yep.
point.
Nope, I
So
get
why
that. That makes
bother?
sense. No.
It's definitely a spiritual awakening or maybe a spiritual growth
Yeah.
type thing
Yep. I would agree with that.
for
Like,
me.
we moved a fuck ton when I was growing up, but like, I've never not just
Immediately went into it with the house.
yeah. Like I
Yeah.
as many times as I had to take my room down and like put it back up and stuff like that cuz like I had real funky rooms. My parents allowed me the opportunity and I bless these people every day. Like my parents are fucking amazing. They allowed me the opportunity to be creative from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 11 years old, um two two entire walls in my bedroom were covered in random shit like postcards, stuff I liked out of magazines, this beaded necklace I had,
Mm-hmm.
I'd hang up, like just random stuff, completely covering these two walls, like just completely covering them. And when we'd move, I'd have to take it down. Like nothing was glued up, it was all taped or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I had like hundreds of stuffed animals because I never would get rid of a stuffed animal. So it didn't matter if it was like a Dollar Tree stuffed. I loved stuffed animals. So I always saved all of my toys because I'm a giant child, y'all. I love toys and I did as a kid too. So like I am my mother, I realize as I speak out loud because my mom's thing is like, she doesn't feel like it's her place when her stuff's not out.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like an intruder in the space when her
Mm-hmm.
stuff isn't out. And that is how I feel. Like, I don't feel welcome if my things are all packed away in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never, like, as much as I moved, I didn't have that mentality. But I think that's because not that my items are me, but they gave me comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be able to see them, even if that meant I had to, like, pack them up again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like, I don't say it in a judgmental way when I say, like, I think for people's mental health, they should, go ahead and, like, invest themselves in their space, even if they're renting. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot, like, if
Well,
you
you
look
can
at the
do so
housing
much with your
market,
renting. Like that
yeah,
was I don't
you
want to
think, no, I
use
realize,
childhood trauma as
right.
it, because I feel like you and I have, when it comes to moving around a lot, there are the two.
Very different aspects. Yeah.
Yes,
Like
like
you're
the
one end of the
alcoholic.
extreme and I'm the other end of the
Yes,
extreme. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get you. And I'm like, I was just sharing that like to say like why I have not been that way, even though we moved so much. But like just it has nothing to do with you and what you chose to do. I just am encouraging like our listeners,
Yes,
like
yes.
from a standpoint of that. Like I think it's really important that you let yourself be a part of the space, because when you spend so much time somewhere,
It makes you sick when you don't. Like,
yeah, it
really
really
does.
drains you. You don't
It
want to go
does.
there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
like
I
it's
don't
a
recommend
sad.
doing what I did, because
Yeah,
it
no,
was,
because and that's why I was like, I don't want you to take this as an attack, because
not
it's
an
not
attack.
about you at all. I just think like I definitely live by a different way of doing that. But like I couldn't not paint either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're just different people, which I think I was talking about in the last episode.
Yeah.
Maybe it was this episode.
No.
Yeah. Either way, like I love the differences, and it allows for conversation, because I see the like cuz we wouldn't put up shelves in a rental because it's a rental.
Right.
But other things I would do. So I'd never thought about not making it my own from the standpoint of it's a rental and I'll be moving, because to me it's like, well, I got to be here now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's just we are different ends of the aspect, and all of our listeners are on one end of that aspect or somewhere in between, you know what I
Right.
mean? So like I think this is great conversation for food for thought for everybody involved. Yeah. I'm just trying to save it because I don't want it to seem like I wasn't like,
No, I do
yeah.
not feel that
Okay.
way at
Okay.
all. I think it
I
was
guess
also a depression issue for me,
yeah.
honestly.
No, I
And
agree.
also just having to learn how to live on your own and things like that. And I can
Mm-hmm.
honestly say it did affect my mental health. And
Yeah.
so that's where the procrastination, I think, that I was mentioning in the beginning of this episode comes in. You want to do something, but something's preventing you from doing it. You're preventing yourself from
Yep.
doing it.
I get that.
Do it anyway. It's
Yep.
hard to explain.
No, you're right though. Do it anyway. Absolutely. Because like the times that I haven't had my things out for the most part were when my kids were little and would have broken them.
Exactly.
And it made me sad, like
Yeah,
to
you
not
don't
have
want
my
to
things
break
out.
them.
But I also, yeah, it made me sad when they got broken. So they had to be away. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I'd still try to make it my space, not like I have with this house. And I guess that's I never did anything like I've done here. You know what I mean? But it was always like, I'm going to hang my pictures. I'm going to have a sun catcher. I'm going to have, a hanging garden or whatever. Like, I'm going to do little things, and it's for myself and nobody else. And that's the thing about making the fucking inviting environment is you do it for yourself first. And then it becomes inviting for the everybody else. Now, in my instance, I already had kids. So like all those things that I was doing in my head, it was for my kids' sake. You know what I mean? Like I had my first daughter when I was just barely 18, guys. So, it was a different situation, which is also why I asked you, like, because I was wondering if it was different because you didn't immediately leave home and have kids to deal with like I did, like, because as soon as I was not being taken care of by my parents, I was a parent taking care of a kid and trying to muddle through all of that and figuring out when she was a couple years old, like, the house really needs to, like, eventually she's going to notice, and it's got to be a home.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So what do you guys think? Like, do you actively work to give your home a vibe? Like, do you actively, like, do you want people to be comfortable there? Seriously,
Right,
that
including
seems,
yourself.
that seems like a sarcastic
I feel
question,
like
but
people
it's
would
not.
be like, no, go away.
That is why I'm like asking, because I think people are like, no, I don't want people to be comfortable. Then they be here.
Right.
And like, we got to fix that about society.
We do.
Y'all.
That's the whole point.
That's the point of this episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, or part of it. Yeah. Because like, I do wonder, do you keep a household in a manner that people don't want to come over to, and you do it that way on purpose?
Right.
That's not a pointed.
So toxic.
Yeah, like I don't mean that in an offensive way, but it does seem like pretty toxic behavior. So like, is there anybody out there advertently doing that? If you're inadvertently doing it, did we just help you realize something that shadow workiness or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, this
Let
started.
us know in the comments.
Especially if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe while you're doing it. And if you're on Spotify or one of the other podcast apps, thanks for commenting. That's fucking awesome. It helps our algorithm. We appreciate you.
You can find us on Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot and Facebook at Witches Talking Tarot.
And you can find us on the X at Classiest Witches because we are the classiest witches you know.
Thanks for sitting with us for a spell.
Oh my God, our patrons. Yes, Death by DVD.
There is no Kate.
Victoria.
Maybe there will be a Kate.
So sorry we missed you last time. And yeah, Kate, you gotta sign up now. You just got a shout out.
Right? What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for sitting.
Yes.
Thanks for sitting with us for a spell.